Well, a warm welcome to you and you and you, whatever part of the globe you may be joining us from. Welcome to Transforming Lives One at a Time. I am your host, Deanne. Of course, always happy to be in your company. Feel free to check out our social media platforms. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, YouTube. And of course, if you have a topic that you would like us to speak to, you can feel free to send us a message and we can try to see what can happen there. Today, we will be speaking to founder of Tabitha's Home, Rowena Pitt, and what the organization has been doing right here in Tobago. Tabitha's Home for Women and Children is a registered non-profit faith-based organization which was founded in 2019. Their mission is to restore, empower, and transform the lives of women and children who have experienced trauma, abuse, or exploitation, helping them rebuild safe, purposeful, and productive lives. They believe that with compassion and God's grace, women and children can truly experience true healing and reach their fullest potential. Mrs. Pitt, welcome to the program, and it's a pleasure having you on board today.
Thank you so much, Deanne. I really appreciate you having us here.
Yes. Well, first of all, tell us about the motivation behind establishing this much needed initiative, Tabitha's Home.
Well, I wish I could take some credit for it, but I really cannot. I believe that it was God's plan to establish this home. When I returned to Tobago in 2018, I really had no intention of doing this, but God knew the need. Yes, and He has such a special love for Tobago and for the women of Tobago. So I believe that this is His plan to help women and children who need that safe space to rebuild their lives.
Yes, and that is so important, as you said, that safe space, because and many times, you know, persons feel that when they're going through that trauma, there isn't someone that they can confide in. There isn't someone that they could say, well, listen, this is what's going on, and being real. And this is what this program is all about. We are about being real. We are about taking off the mask. We are about, let's not pretend that we don't have a problem when in fact we do.
That's right.
You know, so yes, definitely. Well, I know that the question of little or no adequate shelters for women, especially, has been in the domain for quite some time now, where we have had many activists lobbying for such. Is it that the general populace is not seeing that there is a dire need for establishments like these?
Well, as you rightfully say, there has been lobbying, and it's continuing. It is continuing from several fronts. Certainly the NGOs are saying, you know, we need this and help us do what we are already doing. But I think the populace as a whole may not be fully aware of the giant need that it is. I think they understand, yes, you know, women need help, but for the most part it's a phenomenon that people don't understand. So they would say things like, well, why she just don't leave?
Right.
You know, not understanding all the dynamics that are involved. One of the big pieces is finances. If I leave, where will I go? Yes, how will I support myself? How will I support my children?
Of course.
Yes, and it's multifaceted problem, because there are things simple that we may not consider, like the school for the children. If I leave, where will my children go to school? Because even if I am in a shelter, I may not be able to send them to school because of the dangers involved. So it is a complex problem that many people don't fully understand. But we continue to lobby because we're hoping that those who make the decisions will understand what a great need it is, especially following COVID. We had a huge spike in abuse and domestic violence during COVID, and we're not seeing it letting up. So there is a big need in Tobago right now for shelters. There's a big need for transitional homes, which is what Tabitha's Home is. So that we can keep our women and children safe.
Of course, and safety is so very vital.
Absolutely.
Well, I want us to talk, tell us exactly what the facility offers at this time and of course some of the programs being rolled out as persons try to get over the hurdles and get back on good footing?
Yes. Well, one of the things that we're happy to offer is, as I said before, a safe space. So we actually have currently 3 self-contained units at Tabitha's home, where the woman and her children will have their own bedroom, their own private bathroom, and their own small kitchenette.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a living room that all the families share, and a laundry room that they share. But unlike most shelter models where there's very little private space, and you share a bedroom and you share a bathroom, at Tabitha's home we have self-contained units. So you really have the privacy and the space that you need to rebuild your life. Now at the moment we only have 3 units, so we are pushing to add more. We've begun construction on 2 more units, and we're looking for funding to complete those 2. And there is land around the current structure that will allow us to continue to add units as we go along. Yes, so we provide transitional housing. We also provide counseling, which is very, very important. Trauma counseling for the women as well as for the children. Sometimes, you know, we say, well, children are resilient, they'll get over it, but there is a need. Yeah, so we provide counseling. We also provide life skills courses, because it's important. Yeah, so things like financial management. How do I manage my monies now that I'll be on my own? Yes, parenting skills, health and wellness. How do I take care of myself? How do I take care of my children? We even offer a module called Who I Am. Identity is so important.
Identity crisis we have a lot of.
That's right, because if my life has been wrapped up in the life of someone else for the last 10 years, the last 15 years, you know, who am I? So those are part of a module that we call Shaped by Grace, those 4 sections of life skills. We also offer physical assistance in the form of grocery hampers on a monthly basis. We have a small thrift shop. So we offer clothing for the women and their children. So if you have a job interview and you need to dress for success, right? We offer programs for children as well. On every Saturday we have what we call a kids club. And Kids Club is for the children who are in residence, in addition to children in the community and children who are part of our extension program. So we only have 3 units, as you heard. So we definitely have more requests. So we try to assist women sometimes in finding an apartment for them. You know, maybe we offer a small subsidy because we're a small organization. Of course. You know, or we connect them with services like social services that may be able to assist with rental payments. So the women who are in our extension program, which is what we call that, their children also are a part of Kids Club. Yes, so the Kids Club program is where we do Bible lessons, we do sports and activities, we do crafts, fun games, we do field trips. Yeah, Kids Club is actually one of my favorite parts of the holistic program that we offer at Tabitha's home.
And it's so important, as you stated, the Kids Club, because many times we tend to focus on the adults. And yes, we should focus, because we should have a holistic approach. But many times we look at the children and we kind of bypass them and say, well, they're just children, not recognizing that these are the children that will be shaping the future. Tomorrow, of course, these are the leaders of tomorrow. So I really like how you're actually having that program, so that you can get those values, much needed values, into these children, inculcate the kind of values and the goals and the dreams and the vision, you know, so that they would know how to proceed. So even at a later age, they would remember, because children always remember. They will remember what they were taught, and it can now push them, propel them into being a part of the solution, as I said, and not the problem. And not the problem, definitely. Well, this is definitely very commendable what you are doing. I want us to talk about, as it relates to the work you do, what happens throughout the year? Do you have like workshops? Do you have support groups, fundraisers? Tell us what happens.
Well, we definitely have fundraisers.
Yes.
We have our biggest fundraiser for the year is usually in November, and that is a benefit auction and dinner where you can get all sorts of fabulous things like, stays at hotels.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yes, the year before we actually had 2 round-trip tickets to anywhere Caribbean Airlines fly.
Ooh.
And you can come and you bid on the items, and of course you get them for way less than if you would pay for them at the market rate.
Right.
So we have lots of different events. Last year was the first year we had a fun and family day where we brought together all our residents, those in the extension program, people who we've assisted in the past, who've gone on now and are independent, living, living their own lives. We're hoping to expand that this year to include the public a little bit more. We're thinking of perhaps doing a walkathon and ending, with that fun and family day. So we do lots of different activities. We actually have something coming up shortly in February called Women Praying for Women. And it's an online event that we connect women from all over the world. Women from the US, we've had women from the Bahamas, women from Canada, women of course right here in TNT, and we pray one for another. We share with each other, encourage each other. We certainly ask the women who are part of Tabitha's Home, who are recovering or who have recovered and moved on, to come on and be a part and to share with the other women. In terms of regular activities, we do have a monthly group session called Hope for Tomorrow, where women who are in our extension program, women who are residents, and sometimes women who may be in emergency situations, that come through, they may just, need assistance for 3 months because I just need to get over this hurdle. A little change in my life. I may have gone through a divorce and, I'm just restructuring my life. So they come the 3rd Saturday in every month, and we have a wonderful group session where they get to share. There's a counselor present who is able to speak to the needs and the issues that arise. And at the end of this session, they get to take a grocery hamper home. They also earn what we call loyalty points. And you can use your points to shop at Tabitha's Closet.
Really?
Yes. And mind you, Tabitha's Closet has really, really good items. It's not old clothes. Yes. We have name brand items that come down from the US, and so the women are able to get really nice things for themselves and for their children.
And we come back to that safe space, because even in that kind of environment, persons would feel so free to speak, knowing that they're not being judged.
That's right.
They have that confidence that whatever they say or whatever they share, it stays right there. And you said something earlier in terms of persons that you would have assisted before, you would now have them back into the program. Is it that some of them come back as mentors to help others as they recover?
Well, actually, we have one lady right now who is a staff member that has come back and is working. She works actively with the Kids Club, but she certainly is a part of the Hope for Tomorrow session and is able to share with the ladies. Yes, we have others who, just give their story, and it's encouraging. And most of our volunteers are women who have been through some sort of trauma, and they're able to say, look at me now. Yes, I made it through. Yes, God helped me, and He will do it for you. So definitely it is a safe space. We recently started having the ladies actually sign a confidentiality agreement to ensure that what happens at Hope for Tomorrow stays at Hope for Tomorrow. Yes, but that is the goal. I recently had one lady come in and she said, Miss Rowena, I really enjoy coming because I feel such a peace. When I'm here. We've had others come and it's, can we just stay for a little bit, and just sit in the office? And I'm like, sure, because I just feel so peaceful
Yes,
here.
yes,
So
yes.
that's what we strive for.
Of course.
Yes.
It is usually said that no man is an island. And many times as persons go through traumatic experiences, as we say sometimes, when life is lifing, when life is lifing, and sometimes you just need that encouragement.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's so important for persons to be able to have an avenue whereby they can say, listen, everything is not good with
That's
me.
right.
I
That's
need
right.
some help.
Yes.
Because we come from a culture here in Trinidad and Tobago, and of course for the viewers, I mean, you would get to know about our culture here now in some aspects. We are very private people. We don't like persons, quote unquote, in our business.
That's right.
We don't, if I'm going through a rough time, I don't even want my neighbor to know. So I'll be talking softly. And I think many times we miss the mark because we so want to have things private and secretive, and we don't give ourselves the opportunity to access the help, because the help could be right next door. You know, so just speak about that.
Yes, absolutely. Support is so important. Yes, without support, many of us don't make it through. Yes, and what we found is that there are many women in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago by extension, who are suffering in silence. Yes, as you said at the beginning, we put on a mask.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and we go out to work and we go out to church and we function. Yes, but we are suffering in silence. Our pillows perhaps would tell a different story of the silent tears that we don't share with others. So we strive to provide that safe space where you can talk, you can open up, you can share. And as I said, we have counselors there who are capable of handling, because sometimes you open up and there might be a breaking down because this is the first time you're sharing. So we have individuals there who can talk with them. We also have people who will pray with them. Yes, and encourage you that you're not alone. Yes, we will walk with you through this journey, because it is a journey. It's not a quick fix. Yes, it's a process that happens. Unfortunately, we know that, you know, some women abort the process and turn back and go back into the abuse, and that is one of the hardest parts of what we do, to see that happen. But as I said at the beginning, it's a complex problem, and it's not an easy solution to come out. But we're so happy when we see women who make it out and they stay out, and then they're able to reach back and help others who are in a similar position that they would have been in.
And even when you look at being in a position to be able to take care of yourself, because many times for some of these women, they are in a situation but they have never done any kind of training for anything at all. They have never worked a day in their life, so they're always dependent on this person to take care of. So now, and that is why when you said some persons ask, why doesn't she just leave? But you now have to think about, okay, when I leave, what happens then? Am I gonna go on the street? And these are the things that we have to look at, because sometimes we don't empathize with people. We just look from the outside, and because we are not in it, as there is a saying, who in the kitchen is they feel the heat, you know. So that is very, very vital to be able to get that kind of skills training, and we have so many opportunities now. We have so many opportunities now.
Yes, and we try to refer out as much as we can for that kind of training. At Tabitha's home, women can stay up to a year. Not everyone stays a year, because there is an assessment that's supposed to happen every 3 months to ensure that you are still doing what you should do. But that gives women the time to do those kinds of things. So if I need to take a class, if I need to go back to school, you know, if I need to develop skills in some area, and certainly we have some women who want to start a business. It's something they've always wanted. They're good at it, and you know, but they never had the opportunity. So we try to encourage them. We have individuals who are able to give business advice nice. One of the things we're hoping for in 2026 is to run a program that starts with a bit of training in running a small business and then ends with the development of a skill. So something like braiding, or maybe doing nails, or making jewelry. So we're hoping for businesses that don't take a lot of startup capital.
Of course,
right?
understood.
Because if you're braiding, you have your client bring their hair and you just provide the skill.
That's right, that's right.
So we are hoping to launch that program this year. We've talked about it all last year, and we're hoping that we'll be able to do that, so that we provide not just the skill training, but also the training in business administration. How do I manage the money? How do I keep my money separate from the business money? Right? And how do I operate a small business? We have had workshops where we've had individuals come in from credit unions, from our small business development bureau right here in Tobago. We've had sessions like that where our women have been able to get some sort of information on some of the programs that are available and some skills training. But we want to take that a little bit deeper this year in providing the skills course as well.
That is very, very, very vital. Well, at this time, we're going to take our first short break, and we'll be right back. You're viewing Transforming Lives One at a Time. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Torbay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Voodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, Prescott power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Voodoo's Enterprises Limited. Hi, I am Deanne, host of Transforming Lives One at a Time, and I would like to introduce you to our brand new segment, Good Vibes, Good News. And this is where you have the opportunity to highlight your good news. You can send your 90 seconds video to our WhatsApp number 868-701-2099. That's 868-701-2099. Let's hear some of the good news that we never hear about. Good vibes, good news. Inspiring hope. Celebrating wins. Truly grateful. Welcome back to the program. Well, the conversation continues with Miss Rowena Pitt. What kind of collaboration do you have with other stakeholders as you seek to provide that avenue for individuals to get that much needed support to maximize?
Well, we work with other organizations, and we are always happy to collaborate, to partner. Yeah, so in the past we've worked with churches that have assisted us, Women of Substance, Onika Mars. Yes. We've also worked with the Office of the Prime Minister, the Gender Affairs Unit, and been a part of some of the activities and events that they have had, the initiatives that they brought on stream. One of which was a database that we were trying to pull together that included all stakeholders. I think it was so fantastic. I don't think it's up and functioning right now, but definitely something that I'm hoping that the new stakeholders and those in office will continue the work that was started there, because there seems to be a disconnect amongst the government bodies, the NGOs,
right.
and even the stakeholders on the ground, even the gender units at police stations,
Yes.
you know, the law. There needs to be collaboration
Yes.
amongst all stakeholders to really address this problem.
Of course.
Because as I said, it's multifaceted and it's complex. So no one NGO or no one government
Right.
office has all the resources that are needed to fully address the problem, to fully offer the kind of support that the woman needs.
Right.
So for instance, if we get a call and it's an emergency situation, someone is running for their lives, which happens,
Yes.
right? There needs to know, well, who is the police officer that I call?
Of
Which
course.
unit do I reach out to?
Yes.
And then, you know, the police officer says, okay, I can make a call so that, you know, the law comes in to protect this woman, that if she needs a restraining order, it can happen quickly,
Yes.
right? Where can she be placed immediately?
Right.
Yes, and unfortunately, we don't have that kind of network right
Understood.
now. Yeah, so we know individuals, right?
Yes.
That I met this person and I have their
Right.
number and I'll call them and yes, Miss Pitt, I'll see what I can do to
Yes.
help. You know, and we work it that way, and I'm so grateful for many who it's not even their job,
Right.
right? But they see the need and they jump in and they assist. But there definitely is a large need for that kind of referral network
Right, yes.
that will really, really help keep our women safe.
So what I'm hearing is that we need to have a little more synergy.
Absolutely.
Because I would usually say on this program that many times we have various NGOs doing things, and okay, you may be dealing with women and children, and 6 other NGOs may be doing that, but they may be taking different areas. And these are the people that need to come together, so that if we know you have units available, you have 3 units available, then they might have a sponsor who might be able to say, well, listen, I can provide some materials for you to get 3 more units,
Yes.
and to be able to collaborate. But many times we have one NGO in this corner doing their own thing, another one over there in the other corner, we have the government over here in this corner, and then there's no kind of meaningful collaboration
Yes.
to ensure that the programs that we are putting out, because when persons start an NGO, it's because they have a heart and a passion for people. But we need to collaborate more. We need to make it much more effective so that it really reaches to the people that needs it.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
Diane.
that is
something
important.
That is really, really needed. There are things happening in Tobago that we don't know about.
Of course.
Yes, wonderful programs that are being run for the youth or for women, and some, you know, mentorship programs, and that's actually something else that we do for our young women.
Right.
And right around when we were starting to launch ours, thankfully, one of my board members heard of a very similar program that was being launched at the same time. I said, you know, we need to do this together.
Course.
We need to collaborate.
Yes.
So I honestly, we've had meetings,
Right.
so I can't say that hasn't happened.
Yes.
Some of the divisions have brought in NGOs, and we've sat around the round table, and we've talked and we've talked and we've talked. Yes, but we're really still looking for, as you say, that synergy.
Of course.
Right? That referral network that allows us to work together seamlessly.
Yeah, and that's critical, because when you look at you sitting around these tables, we having the meetings, we know what is the problems. We know what are the problems. We know what's the solution, but we need to come together to activate it.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know, we don't need talk again. We've had enough talk.
I agree.
Because we are dealing with real people,
That's right.
with real issues, real lives being affected, children being affected, and then we have to look at what it does to a child psychologically. Sometimes it wrecks a child because they have to be moving from this place to another place. They see what their mom is going through, and they can't even help because they are a child.
That's right.
So I think we need to get rid of the what should I say, the politics in the whole mix, and recognize that we need people of action.
That's right.
Not just saying it or calling a meeting. Or I have been to several meetings. And they would say, oh yes, this is a fantastic idea. I'm going to call you to get. I am still waiting for the call. Because it sounds nice, it sounds popular at the time for someone to say, oh wow, this person is going to call this one. But I am about action, I'm about moving, I'm about shaking.
Yes,
I'm about creating real solutions for real problems.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that, you have taken up that initiative and you're pushing forward, and I want to encourage you to continue doing that. Because what you're doing, you are impacting lives, you are transforming lives, and as you transform one life, as the name of this program, transforming lives one at a time, you never know what that one person would be able to accomplish.
That's right.
They may be able to transform 1,000 other lives.
That's right.
And that is what we as individuals, we have to look at. Whatever we're doing, we are impacting a life. Don't just look at it as I'm impacting one life.
Right.
Look at the ripple effect it can cause. Because that is what we want.
Yes.
That is what we need.
Yes.
We want persons to be able to get help and to be able to recover from whatever traumas they have been facing.
Yes, thank you for that encouragement. Yeah, because it is hard work.
It is.
It is not easy work, and
commitment
sometimes,
and dedication.
Yes. And sometimes when that support that you're expecting from other bodies is not forthcoming, it can be quite discouraging.
Of course.
But thank you for that encouragement.
Definitely. I'm here to encourage. Well, I want us to talk about the realities, just going a little in depth, of facing and coming to terms with domestic violences and other related traumas.
Well, it as I said before, it really is a very complex issue. I think one of the things that we need to do in Trinidad and Tobago is to make people aware. You may be surprised that there are women who are in abusive situations, abusive relationships, and they are not aware that what they're experiencing is abuse. Right? So I have had women say, well, me and he just used to fight, we used to fight sometimes. Or he does just cuss me all the time, or, well, no, I don't get the money, he takes all the money, and they're unaware that this is not okay. Right? I've had conversations to say, no, a relationship should not look like that. Yes, and part of it is our culture. That still says, well, if he ain't hit you, he ain't love you. You've heard that one?
Yes, I've heard that one.
So we need, I don't want to just say education, because that sort of puts it at one level. It's more of an awareness that this is a problem. We also need an awareness that it's a problem that concerns all of us. Because sometimes we get the idea that violence and abuse only happens to certain types of people. But it's across all spectrums, all social levels. Sometimes we think, only uneducated women will put up with that. Not at all, right? There are women who have their PhDs, women who are going out to work dressed very nicely in their business suits and are experiencing abuse at home. So we need to understand that it affects all of us, and that it is all of our business. As you said before, we like to say, well, I ain't getting in people's business, and I don't want anybody to know my business. I'm not getting involved. But if you hear something, you hear a woman screaming, you see a situation, don't turn a blind eye. So make a phone call. If all you do is call the police, and you don't have to identify yourself, right? Because a lot of people say, I don't want to get involved, Why is
safety?
Exactly. And then you don't know, because sometimes women do go back. And that can be very discouraging for the person who stepped in and put themselves at risk to help. And then, a month later, you look across and, my neighbor has moved back. Right? So you don't have to get close. in terms of identifying yourself, but you can make a phone call.
Yes, say something.
Say something, do something. You can always call us at Tabitha's Home. Our main number is 357-9072. You can certainly call the Sherburne Police Station. They have a gender unit there where officers have been trained to deal with domestic violence. So do something, say something, because it is a problem. It's of a magnitude that I don't think we understand. Of course. Yes, statistics are showing something as high as 7 out of 10 women in Trinidad and Tobago. That is too much for our tiny island. Yes. I have not seen statistics that's localized to Tobago alone. It's hard to desegregate the data. But very, very high numbers. Of course. That means if you're sitting in an office and there's probably 10 of you there, you know,
6 or 7
out of that office is experiencing something at home.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be a physical abuse.
I was about to say, yes.
Let's talk about that.
It's not just, you know, I'm coming to work with a black eye. It's not just physical, right? It's emotional, it's verbal, it's financial. Of course. Right? And the controlling that I am not free to be my independent self. Yes. Right? We believe at Tabitha's Home that every person has value and worth and dignity, because we're all made in the image of God. Yes. So as an individual, you are not allowed to control my life. Right. Yes, I am a free moral agent, and we are partners together in this relationship. Yes, so I think we need to understand that this is a problem that affects all of us. Yes. It's a problem that all of us need to be a part of the solution, which is what I love how you said that at the beginning. That we need to be a part of the solution. Of course. And the last thing I want to say is that we need to talk to our men. Yeah. We need programs for our boys. I know Women of Substance was running a program at one point where they were going into high schools to talk to the boys, to say, this is not how you treat a woman. Yes, this is not what you do. You may have seen it growing up, but this is not what is expected. Yes.
You know, a young man told me some time ago, he said, the boys that we have neglected are now the men that we don't want. That is so society true. And persons who really look at this program on an ongoing basis would know that I would be one that always share a kind of concern for our boys and men. Because when we look at the statistics, when we look even in domestic violence, the majority, the higher percentage, the violence is being perpetuated by males. When we look in the prison system, males. When we look at on the drug corners and the drug dens, males. And we have been paying so much focus on our females, because even in growing up, you know, you would have a boy and a girl, and by the time it's 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, you will tell the girl, you gotta come inside. But you will say to, there's a boy, man, he can climb out, and that is the problem. So what the young man was alluding to was that we have neglected our boys. We haven't given them the kind of priority and the kind of attention that they needed. And now those boys are now the men of today, and we are having problems. So I am saying we have to deal with the little boys.
I agree wholeheartedly.
We have to do that. And this is something that I think it doesn't take rocket scientists. It doesn't, unless you're living under a rock. You are seeing the situation for the past 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Come on. It's common sense. It means that we have to pay more attention to the people that are causing us most distress, which are the boys and the men. I'm not saying neglect the women. Please be mature about this. Understand what I'm saying. For the mature ones, you will understand. I am saying we need to do more.
Yes.
We need to do better, because we can't just be saying that we want to build 10,000 homes and shelters for our women and not address the root cause as to why these women are being abused.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Come on. A blind man with bored glasses could see that.
I like that analogy.
Don't get me started today.
I'll have to use that one. A blind man with bored glasses.
Can see that.
Yes, but you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Our boys need attention.
Yes.
Yes, and at our kids club right now, we have boys that are a part of the program, and once per month we divide the group.
Yes.
So we have activities specially for the girls and activities specially for the boys.
Right.
And we bring in some men to sit and talk with them. The last session we had, one of the young man, his 20s, came in, and we're just addressing little things like how you introduce yourself, how you shake somebody's hand, say your name with confidence, speak up. Those little things that our boys are not getting. You walk into a college classroom right now. I used to teach before Tabitha's home took over most of my time, college level here. And when I walk into a classroom, it's predominantly women.
Yes.
I may have one or two men in the classroom.
Of course.
Yeah, some classroom, only women.
Yes.
So we need to pay attention.
We need to address it.
Boys.
We need to address it. Put everything aside. I don't use the politics, but put politics aside, because we make everything so political and we because you're not here or you're not there or because you're with this side and I can't. Someone may have an excellent idea, but because I'm not a part of your party, you will say, I'm not going with that. Or I may have started something and it is an excellent idea to continue. But because someone else on the other side started it, it means that my ego has now taken over. And I am no longer looking out for the betterment of my people and what is in the best interest of my people.
Yes.
I told you on this program, it's real, It's real, because we don't sweep things under the carpet. We take up the carpet, we throw it out, and we get broom, and if we have to wash down whatever, we don't sweep things under the carpet because we have been doing it for so long. Where has that gotten us? Nowhere. Yeah? Nowhere. So these are the realities that we need to get out.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and I am trusting that as this program goes, that persons are going to really listen to what we are saying.
Yes.
Listen to our heart. Listen to the passion in which we are speaking it, and understand that we have got to do something different. Insanity, doing the same thing, the definition of insanity. You can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. It cannot happen. But at this time, we're going to take another short break. I'm going to give you that, just to think about during the break. Going to take that short break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
If you're wondering where to find top-tier quality tiles and products to refurbish or renovate your wall, floor or pool, well, your worry is over. Come to D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center, Storbay Local Road, opposite the Bonnecourt Primary School, Tobago, where you will find porcelain, mosaic and ceramic tiles of the highest quality guaranteed. D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center also stocks thinset, grout, tile cutters, and yes, windows. Plus a friendly smile and service that's second to none awaits you. So forget the hassle and get all the quality tiles you need right here in Tobago at D-Cells Tile and Ceiling Center. Call us today at 460-8802, 639-8281. Opens Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m.
Do you need electrical and plumbing supplies from construction to finish? Then check out Boodoo's Enterprises Limited, Milford Road, Canaan, Tobago. Get LED bulbs and fixtures, septic tanks, water pumps, laminate flooring, Prescott power tools, and so much more. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. Call 280-2050 or 660-4970. Boodoo's Enterprises Limited. Welcome back. I tell you, a very interesting conversation here today. Well, Mrs. Pitt, I know that over the years, Tabitha's Home has distributed hundreds of food hampers, care packages throughout the island. Tell us about what has the response been like from recipients?
Well, it is a big need. We continue to get requests. Sometimes we don't have enough to meet all the requests. What we do now, when we first started, we would distribute and we would give out the hampers. But we've changed our program a little bit in the sense that we now run a pantry system. One of the pillars of Tabitha's Home is maintaining dignity.
Right.
So in that vein, we now have women come in and they get to choose what they need for themselves and their families.
Understood.
Right? So we're not just going to pack a hamper and give it to you, and we may put oatmeal in there and you don't even eat oatmeal.
Yes.
Right? Or we may put peanut butter and you and your family are allergic to peanuts. Right? So you come in and you are able to tell us, you're able to look at what's on the shelf and tell us what you need. Sometimes you're able to swap out one item for another. So you may be somebody who makes bread a lot. So you would get 2 packages of bread, and then, you know, I won't even get the sugar because I'm not big on, you know, on the sweets. So it allows women that same feeling of, you know, maybe going to the grocery store and picking up an item. Now, if I had my way, we would actually set it up that way, but we don't have the space, right? So we just have one set of shelving. But eventually, with God's help, perhaps we will be able to set it up more like that you can walk through and fill your basket. And then when you come out, we just scan, so we have our inventory.
Of course.
But there is no exchange of money.
Understood.
Yes. So that is what we're working towards, so that we can maintain dignity.
Yes.
It's not
and that's
just,
important.
You know, just give you whatever.
Yes.
Right? The challenge right now, though, is continuing to support that program financially, because we don't do hampers only at Christmas, or, you know, monthly we give out hampers. So there is a need for support from grocery stores, from business places, you know, that would say, you know, this month we will give you a bale, 2 bales of flour, we'll give you 2 bales of rice. Yes, and certainly from individuals who are willing to drop off stuff for us, and that happens already. There are a few people who they will call and they said, Rowena, come, I have a case of macaroni, come get it. Yes. There are individuals who they don't have a lot, but they would say, here's $100.
Yes, see what
faithfully.
You can do.
Yes, here's $200. Here's $50. Right? And we put it together.
Of course.
And with that, we're able to maintain the program. So we assist, of course, the women who are in residence, those who are in the extension program, but we're also running an assistance program. And like I said, that's for individuals who just need help for a little while.
Yes,
because of some situation, right? So we've helped people who've had fires, you know, and I don't have any clothes, I don't have any food, right? And we've dropped off, or they've come in and been able to choose what they need, try on, see what fits, you know, in terms of clothing. So that is what we do for our physical support. So while we provide emotional and spiritual support, I can't say, well, let me pray for you, but you're hungry.
So it's holistic.
That's
holistic. And you shared on something very, very important, that somebody might drop across $100 and say, buy this, or they might say, come and collect, I have some cans of peas. Because sometimes we think that when we ask persons for support, we think that you have to bring $5,000 or $1,000. But sometimes you can just go to the grocery, pick up some extra food stuff, and then just drop it off. And of course, of course, we're going to have your numbers up on the screen so that persons who would like to contribute and would like to support, even in the private sector, you're doing construction, the hardwares, so many places, because you could say, well, okay, I might be able to give you a pallet of blocks because I understand and I recognize that this is not for these people to squander, but they are doing something to help humanity. And many times we we place as business persons and stuff, you know, sometimes you place your monies in certain things. I can't tell you where to do it, but I'm saying, even if you're doing it in other areas, you should consider as well something that would help another human being.
That's
not
right.
just affect our football group and fine, to each his own. But I'm saying, try to balance it off. So at the end of the day, you can feel good when you see that woman and her child who may have been on the street because of your contribution, they are now in a nice warm bed with a hot meal.
That's right.
I'm not charging you for that. I'm just throwing that in for free. Very quickly as we begin to wind up the program, I want us to talk a little bit about some of the high-risk women and children who would qualify for being a part of your program, because of course there has to be a screening.
Yes.
So just tell us quickly about that.
So we accept women who have been through, like we said, through our tagline, abuse and exploitation. The primary qualification, honestly, Deanne, is women who want to change their lives.
Okay.
Yes. So if it is you're just looking for a roof over your head for a little while, that's not so much what we do.
Right.
Right. If you're just looking for groceries, yes, maybe we can help you for a month or two. But our primary goal is to restore, empower, and transform the lives of women. Yeah. So if you realize, you know, I need a change.
Yeah.
I don't want to continue to live my life like this. Then we are ready to walk with you, to support you, to encourage you.
Right.
Now, there is an assessment process.
Yes.
So when you reach out to us, we will probably have an initial conversation with myself or another team member.
Right.
And then someone from our assessment team will call to see, well, what exactly your situation is. Yes, we'll of course assess what the background, your economic situation at the time. Do you need somewhere to live? Right. Because if you have somewhere to live, then that means you don't necessarily need to be in the residential program, but perhaps you would qualify for our extension program. Understood. Where we will help you right where you are. You can still access all the services that we offer. So there is that assessment process, and then the woman would be notified as to whether or not she qualifies for any of the programs that we have.
Of course. Well, that is a very practical approach. I want us to touch on some of the insecurities and, of course, that fear factor that would obviously arise after a woman goes through such a traumatic experience, of course, on the road to recovery.
Yes. It is a hard road to recovery, and we will say that from the onset. It's not easy, and that's why sometimes women turn back and they go back. And sometimes you hear people say, well, the devil I know was better than the devil I don't know. Right. No, we don't want the devil at all. Right? So, but it is a difficult journey. Yes. And I think sometimes women expect a quick fix. Yes. I came out, so why isn't it better? Right. It should be better immediately. But it takes time. It takes a long time. Yes, and it requires patience, because sometimes the way is not a straight path. Right. So you may have, 10 steps forward, I'm doing well, I got a job, things are working out, but then lo and behold, something happens, and maybe he is out of jail. So now I have reconnected with him in some way or the other, and he's calling me, and all the talk about how sorry he is, and I will not do it again, and I love you, and if you don't come back, I will kill myself. Yes, all of those things. And we see sometimes a waffling about, sometimes a full reversal. Sometimes it's a few steps backward, but then they remember and they continue on. Yeah, so it is difficult. There is fear. Absolutely. Tabitha's Home is not a safe house. Now, our location, we keep it on the down low. We don't have a sign or anything up, but we are not a safe house. And as we said at the beginning, there are no safe houses in Tobago.
Yes.
Yeah. So imagine I lived here all my life, and you're telling me now that the only way I can be safe is to go to Trinidad, to completely uproot myself and my children and go to Trinidad. And then when I have to leave in 3 months, what do I do then?
Yes.
Yeah, so fear is a huge factor. It's almost a daily companion for many of the women because of the uncertainty. I don't know. I've lived this way with this gentleman since I was 18.
Wow.
You know, and now I'm 40.
Yes.
Yes, so that is the only life I've known.
Yes.
So it's a difficult process, and that's why we have counselors.
Yes, of course.
But for many, because, you know, part of our culture also is that, you know, well, I don't need counseling, I'm not crazy.
Yes.
So we have that stigma attached.
Course.
So some of the women are a bit resistant to counseling, especially those who are in our extension program would say, yes, I need counseling. And then the counselor calls and I'm not available.
Exactly.
You know, the phone just rings and we reschedule, but somehow you know, and the sessions begin to be far and few between because they're not keeping appointments. Yes, because there's that whole stigma that I shouldn't need.
Yes, I should be able to handle this.
Exactly.
But the thing about it, we all need help.
We all do.
And we have professionals for a reason.
That's
we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have teachers, we have professionals for a reason. So why don't we access the help that is so needed? Because remember, they went and they studied that, you know.
That's their training.
I may have studied mass communication. Okay, put me in front of a television or in front of a radio and fine, I'm good. But these people, they are the ones that can help.
That's right.
So we need to be able to look at it like that and realize, as I said earlier, no man is an island.
That's right.
No woman is an island too, if you want to say that too.
Absolutely.
Well, Mrs. Pitt, for someone who may be viewing the program at this time, who is probably now at a breaking point in their life, and they know within their heart that they need some type of intervention. They're probably trying to come to grips with what has been transpiring in their lives, and they're just not sure what to do. Just speak to that person right now.
Well, for one, if they are in danger, and that's the first one we need to address, your first recourse is to call the police. Yes, don't call the neighbor, because sometimes that puts the neighbor themselves in danger as well, and you may not be safe, right? Make a plan, a safety plan that includes considerations like when the perpetrator may not be at home, so when you would know if they would check your phone. So do I need to go to the neighbor to make the phone call? Do I need to use the phone at work to make the phone call, right? Because you would know in case he checks your phone. So make a safety plan. If you have money, begin to maybe put aside just a little bit. If you can, because some women are not allowed to manage their own monies. So you make a plan. If you have the freedom to call us at Tabitha's Home, 357-9072, we can certainly assist in helping you put together a safety plan so you can get out safely. And we can certainly help in assisting with connecting to other resources. If you are in immediate danger, certainly call the police directly.
Of course.
I say call the Chauvin police station because they have officers there that are trained to deal specifically with domestic violence and with these gender issues. Some officers that are not trained may come and, you know, just talk to the gentleman and say, you know, behave yourself. And so you really want someone who understands and perhaps can connect the women to other resources. If it is not that dire, And perhaps it may be emotional abuse that you didn't even realize was abuse, right? Or verbal abuse, and you've just come to the place where you said, no, my life is valuable.
Yes.
I'm worth more than this. I'm not going to continue to endure this. Then please, again, feel free to reach out to us. We have counselors that can have conversations with you, even if you're not ready to leave.
Yes.
Because sometimes that is a decision that takes time to process.
Of course.
Yes, one lady said to me, she said, you know, just thinking about leaving is hard.
Wow.
Not even the beginning to put it in place.
Just thinking about it.
Thinking about it is hard. So we can help you think through it.
Of course.
Yes, and one of the things that can certainly happen if women have the freedom to move about, because some don't,
yes,
you know, to just go and come as they please. Yes. If you have the freedom, they can certainly come to one of our Hope for Tomorrow sessions.
Right.
Yes, the third Saturday in every month, they can come and sit. You don't even have to share that first time you come. You can just come and sit and listen and recognize, wow, I'm not alone.
Wow, yes.
There are others.
Yes, that's right.
That have been through what I've been through, and there are people who are willing to walk with me through the change.
Of course. Well, finally, just share your contact and your social media handles so persons can connect with you as we wrap up.
Okay, thank you so much. So again, our phone number is 357-9072. You can also look at our website to get more information. It's tabithas-home.org, and our social media handles, both Facebook and Instagram, tabithashome.tt.
All right, wonderful. Well, I want to thank you, sincerely thank you for coming in today, Mrs. Rowena Pitt, founder of Tabitha's Home, located right here in Tobago. And of course, she has been making considerable impact in the lives of our women and children. She is actually living out the name of this program, Transforming Lives One at a Time. So we want to thank you again, and all the best to you and the team in your future endeavors. Well, viewers, that's how we wrap things up for today. Another very, very interesting program. On the screen, you're going to see all the information if you want to get in touch, and you'll be there to make a difference. Whatever is the situation, just know that there is hope, there is help, and you have to make that first move. All right, as usual, I leave you with the definition of transformation, which is an internal shift that brings us into alignment with our fullest potential. Hey, we've got this. See you next time.